Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? We are back this week with another episode of Flow for the Love of Wrestling. We are your hosts, Kwency Jones, Young Buck, and of course, Brian Andrew. What's going on, guys?
What up? What up?
Yeah. You know, I don't normally come on here with a lot of controversy hanging around my neck, but I guess what's up is I'm the new champ. I mean,
I'm glad it happened. You deserve it.
It's funny because I was watching the show. I watched it late, and then so when you said it, I was like, I'm not the champ, and then I had to. That's Lucy. She's we haven't met yet, but she's my biggest fan, so she's very excited about the championship win.
She was sleeping all day, not disturbed by anything, and then all of a sudden I stepped for the podcast. She's up.
She heard my voice. She heard my voice. You know what I mean? She's like, "Oh, you're doing a cameo? Tell Kwency I need a cameo real quick." A shout out. Shout out to Lucy Fur, biggest fan. No, but you know, I did enjoy Revolution. There was a few things I was surprised at, but let me ask you guys. Actually, the big thing is, how do you guys feel about the Sting match or the match, so to speak?
I didn't think they were going to do a cinematic match, but apparently they did, and it's fine. I guess that was the best way to go about it. I think I would have just accepted 8 minutes of street fight in the ring too, though. You know, but they did have to set up the barbed wire.
That's true. I think what threw me.
Oh yeah, you know something that crazy. You got to make sure everything's out the way, make sure everything's safe.
True.
Set up. You know, I understand it.
I mean, for me, I didn't mind it. I heard like rumblings it was going to be a cinematic match from like the moment they started talking about it, which made me feel better about it. Just again, you know, I've been always on Cage and how he was going to, you know, do in this match against Sting and everything. Because everyone else was like, a lot of people were like, man, so Cage just pretty much got jobbed out to Sting. I'm like, I don't know if you would say he got jobbed out, but I mean, like, yeah, he took an L to Sting, but I mean, like, it's Sting's first match back. What are you going to do? Like, I mean, I get, you know, they should want to focus on putting out, creating new stars. And yeah, I guess that would have helped Cage. But I mean, like with their booking of Cage, it's like, it wouldn't have done anything because it would have been like, what's next? Because they put a fake belt on this guy. You know what I mean? They don't really do nothing with him.
What's Cage supposed to do?
Exactly. Yeah. You know, but that's why I was like, you know, some people were like thinking that Cage should have got the dub over Sting. And I was like, and you know, old man versus young man, young, big old freaking like rip dude. Yeah, I get that. But I'm like, at the same time, like, come on, man. If they were to have Sting come in to take a loss, and they're no better than WWE, right? Like,
but all they're gonna do too in that moment is what would that set up? Brian Cage versus Darby Allin? And
yeah,
then,
exactly.
Like, do we want that shit? Like
for the 13th time? You know what I mean?
This was supposed to put an end to all this BS. Like,
I which was I mean, that's why I was like, you know, because they were like, oh, they came back and got their heat back from the, you know, they got payback from the heels like twice in a row. I'm like, dude, this dude got dragged in a body bag. I'm like, it is what it is, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was really cool, the presentation of the cinematic, you know, part of it. I thought that they kind of blew WWE out the water quality-wise with the cameras. Not the match, Baca. I'm talking the cameras.
I think it looked great. I think it really did look good, but
I know it wasn't in 8K for 10 seconds as they walk out the entrance ramp like you love, but I mean,
hey, we can all agree that 8K looks really cool, right?
Yeah, it's great
for the few seconds it's on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's like, that's why I was like, this looked like an actual movie, and I'm not taking nothing away from WWE. I'm just saying that this being their first cinematic, like, you know, match, I was like, oh shit, okay. But then it also puts out that dangerous, okay, y'all can't come lower than this bar that y'all already set. You know what I mean? So.
But now that the fans are coming back, the cinematic match should somewhat retire. Like, you can bring it out every year or so, but like I wouldn't be doing it every pay-per-view.
I'm pretty sure they're probably.
Why can't you do both? Why can't you have a cinematic match?
Because for the fans at the stadium or the arena, it gets pretty old watching something on the screen.
It's also the fact that they've been taking advantage with the fans outside the arena. So it's like, well, since no one's there to watch us be able to do this little sleight of hand and this magic trick, like. We can do all the camera cuts we want and nobody would be the wiser. So yeah, once the fans come in, they're not going to be able to get away with that shit anymore. I mean, I was still like annoyed that they chose to film the Money in the Bank match like that, how it was like certain parts and it was like kind of like the wrestling version of the Amazing Race. You know what I mean? It was just like all this fucking craziness like in segments as opposed to just letting the match be what it was. There was nothing wrong with the formula. they didn't need to make it cinematic. But in terms of like the Boneyard match, dope. The Firefly Funhouse, dope. And I'm sure they're probably going to run that one back with Bray Wyatt and Randy this year. But honestly, I agree with you. I think they should retire it, if not make it just a WrestleMania exclusive for the people that actually have matches attached to them that way. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, too, the Firefly Funhouse match was so good last year. I doubt the fans in the stands are going to be upset when they have to watch a 15-minute Firefly Funhouse match on the screen.
No, yeah. As long as they have the camera, cuts on point and people can actually see, because that's what they hate. Is like, if they're gonna play something on the big screen, that's cool, but make sure that we could hear it, make sure we could see it, or else it's just a big waste.
Right, that's true.
Big old waste, But yeah, I enjoyed that. I mean, I guess let's talk about the elephant in the room. The big dud that I know Young Baka was just
that's my
like,
friend. Don't be talking about him like that. I got your back, fine. Don't let him talk to you like that. I got you.
I know Baka he was like, I'm so glad this explosion didn't go off, and I can't wait for all these.
Listen, it was a solid pay-per-view. I really did enjoy it. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it back. I think it was amazing. But one of the biggest downfalls was that
you didn't have Young Baka on the card, and then the finale.
Like my boy Bully Ray says, they only remember the finish. They only remember.
Well, 40 minutes.
Okay. The fact that he didn't need to tweet that shit out, bro. I understand why he did it, but
he's a commentator.
No, he's a spectator.
Professional. No, but he's a spectator. He's a paid. He's a six-figure paid.
It don't matter if you get paid.
How could you say that? He's a professional commentator? He's a journalist of wrestling.
He's not a journalist,
bro. How could you say that?
Bro, Bully Ray is not a journalist.
He has a six-figure contract with Sirius Radio to cover professional wrestling.
And Joe Budden has a contract with Spotify to do the same thing, except with hip hop.
And Joe Budden, hold on.
It's opinion
based.
Of
the culture.
It's opinion based. And I'm not saying he's not successful or not an authority to be able to say, but it's like his word isn't. It's still his opinion. He's getting paid for his opinion.
It is his opinion, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm arguing.
He's not a journalist. He's a personality in wrestling who has a large platform that should say whatever he wants to say. But when he says something bad about WWE, everyone's like, "Hey, good job, Bully."
Well, but when does that happen?
Stick it to the man.
When does that happen? When?
I listen to his show. all the time.
I never.
That's your fault.
Always talks down WWE. I really enjoy it. I think it's great, man. Dave LaCrec and Bully Ray and Mark Henry. I think it's awesome. I think they do a great job.
For someone who hates people for talking shit on the WWE, you listen to a lot of people talking shit on the
100%. I do. But, I do like to get different perspectives of the same story. You watch CNN and Fox, it's two different stories.
I think it's just, it must be me and Brian's faces then, because if it's the same information, but coming out of a different face, he'll listen to it, I guess.
I just think that he could say whatever he wants about WWE, and everyone says, "Good job, Bully. Way to stick it to the man." But if he says one bad thing about AEW, it's like,
but that's the thing is, I have not seen him.
Oh,
no.
I'll pull some stuff.
Hold on. There's a difference between talking about it on your show, because that's what your show is about, and him taking time out of his day to go on his Twitter machine, as he likes to call it, and put something negative out about it. It's different. It's a main difference.
I don't think it is, man.
You don't think it's one I think is in a professional discussion setting where he does say different things. I've heard most recently he's been critiquing the shit out of AEW, which is fine. That's his right. I'm not saying they're perfect at all. But my thing is if this finish already went off the rails, to me, I feel like it's just cheap heat to be like, well, they always remember to finish. Like I'll put it like this. That's a tweet that Triple H would have put out, is what I'm saying, with his petty ass.
You think Triple H is petty? I think Triple H.
He's definitely
on for the culture.
He's not petty. Go back and check out the Hall of Fame.
I think he's a businessman.
Go check out the Hall of Fame ceremony and see how they treated Billy the Gun.
That's all I'm saying. I agree, but he's definitely
because I was petty
a little bit, right?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's the same guy that's roughing up Michael Cole's hair when they're trying to film on Thunderdome. So I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. This is the same guy that was rolling his eyes in the room while John Moxley, or I'm sorry, Dean Ambrose for you, brought up trying to use a box cutter to cut open the ring, and then they're telling him no one's gonna get it. They're telling him no one's gonna get thumbtacks, but this fool, Triple H gets to throw in thumbtacks when he wants Cactus Jack to put him over. But it's it's cool. It's fine.
I hear you, man. I hear you. WWE's evil, AEW is amazing. I got you.
To get back on track is AEW flopped in terms
A
of
to the W. That's dope.
AEW did
A to the W.
AEW
A to the
did
dub.
they flopped in that certain moment, but like the rest of the PvP was fine. They did for 48 hours. It was like, man, how are they gonna get out of this? They did a decent job on Dynamite, in my opinion.
I thought it was a great setup for Dynamite.
It was just
So
awesome.
are you talking about the post or the pre? Like the go home Dynamite, or the one we just watched this week?
No, I think the one we watched this week where they basically explain dud and like that's like to be honest with you, like there's not much they could do to really get out of the situation that they built themselves in. It was a rough situation. The whatever was going to happen was not going to be perfect.
Yeah,
but for what it was, I thought it was fine.
Well, see, from what I was told is they ran through, I think, 2 hours of practice, rehearsals and stuff, and everything went off without a hitch. And then when they loaded that next explosion up or whatever it was supposed to be, that one just happened to randomly be a dud. And from what I heard, Omega was beyond pissed out backstage. Like he was fucking just ridiculously like just pissed off about it. But I don't know if it did them any favors where you got Tony Khan with, Mr. like the same night. Well, I'm not the one who built it, so you might want to talk to Kenny about that. I'm like, dude, why would you? And then
why would you throw your boy under the bus like
that? Yeah. And then now you got Kenny, like, now it's like pretty much, hey, you better come up with something good come Wednesday, And then I mean, Kenny is a shit heel, so whatever he's gonna say, I guess they can just roll with it. But it just didn't really make entirely too much sense the way that they try to execute it. With the whole,
I personally don't feel like there's any way they can make sense of it though. I think it was just
I thought the wrong order, like to have Moxley and Eddie talk first before they give their explanation about the dud. I thought that was poor because I felt mostly bad about Kingston because it's like the reason why him and Moxley sold it is because they both closed their eyes expecting this thing, and they said. They didn't know how bad that the dud was until they went back and watched it again on the monitor.
Well, which the is why they say in that situation, I think that it does fall on AEW. Like we're this is basically a week after the facts, so like they already did Dynamite, they already explained it. So to be honest, I think it's like at this point.
I mean, I will say that the ending of Dynamite definitely maybe not even think about it anymore.
Yeah, but in terms of the explosion in that moment, hey, someone should be in the earpiece on the commentators to say, hey, don't sell this. And then someone should have been when Jerry Lynn went into the ring to talk to Kingston and Mox. Somebody told him to say something, say like, "Hey, don't sell this." Like wake up as if like you're surprised by some shit. Someone backstage either is not in like, for example, when you the WWE, Vince or whoever is in the earpiece of every fucking person.
I was gonna say at the least the ref is always has an earpiece in his ear, and if there's a change on the play, he's the guy. He's the messenger. Yeah, I felt like there was entirely too much personnel out there around that time where I was like, why are we still playing this up as well? I was like
even if Kingston kind of was selling it at first and he got it, at least at some point let him know like, hey, it didn't go off. So hey, why don't you open your eyes? Or hey, Mox could be knocked out from the beginning.
I was gonna say like he could, since he was handcuffed and all that, like he can have Kingston wake up, kind of check on Moxley. I mean, you could have even had Omega go back out there and be like,
and point
we fooled you. On some like Team Rocket, we'll fly again, like humor type shit.
Because if they did that, we would not. It would have been
bad. Loved it.
Yeah,
we would have found out backstage that it was a dud. We wouldn't.
He could have taken that. It was a dud. Omega could have taken that heat if he knew how, but effectively for his character. But yeah. I mean, I get it. It was probably one of those things where no one saw it coming and they didn't know how to act, or react when something like that happens. But then again, none of these guys have been in any $1 million wrestling company where shit like this would happen, and they don't have that experience to just act on the fly,
But the frustrating thing is it came from two ends, right? For example, the first end is Kingston not selling it, and the second end is the fact that the commentators were selling that. Oh, I feel the heat from the explosion or whatever.
Yeah.
If one of them. And I'm assuming the commentators at this point, because keep in mind, there's probably like 100 something people at Daily's Place or something, but like most people were watching. If the commentators didn't even say a thing, and then we saw Kingston passed out, we would have probably been able to be like, I don't like this, but whatever. It's the fact to me is that the commentator sold it. Kingston was passed out.
They were like, hold on, it's something like
yeah. They would have been like, and even then, I feel like the commentators. Jim Ross doesn't give a fuck half the time. Why didn't he just be like,
I was
that was interesting?
No lie, I was laughing because like Jim Ross had that one line at the, like right at the end when everyone's still in the ring. He's like, are they done? I was like, thank you, JR. I was like, finally.
Because like JR will spend 95% of the time not putting over new talent, but at the moment a dud happens, I'm feeling the heat.
I'm surprised we didn't get a by God or something. But
you know what? And the commentator who does not sell it would have been praised backstage. I'm pretty sure
they would have said great job.
Yeah,
hey, way to think on the fly, you know.
Yeah, but the fact that
no lie,
man, I feel the heat, and then Kingston's passed the fuck out. Not only that, he was passed out for at least like 90 seconds after he was sitting down.
Dude. Like, I mean, I guess I don't know if it helped a little bit where you had Moxley jump on the mic. I don't know if you guys saw that, where he was just making
on air
fun.
Though. That's what sucks.
Yeah, I mean, the people who were there saw it, I guess, you know what I mean. But yeah, I had to find it myself and post it because I was like, maybe this will help alleviate some of it, or at least people can laugh at it as long as he's laughing at it. Because I felt bad. For Kingston mostly just because I was like, damn, he's over there selling it straight up. And people were kind of just making fun of him. But you know what? Yeah, I just want to say one other thing before obviously I think we should move on to Dynamite real quick. I just want to say I told y'all so, man. Reach for the sky, Scorpio Sky. You know what I'm saying? He's on the come up. You know?
I gotta give it to you, man. Reach for those brass wings. I didn't think there was any chance he was gonna win. But
so literally our $2 championship competition went down to that, and it was back and forth. I was watching the show live, and Baca jumped ahead with that Phoenix and Pac, and I was like, you picked them too, didn't you? Yeah, and it's like I didn't pick.
Oh no, you picked Dark Order. That's yeah. Silver and Reynolds, yeah.
And at least Silver was in the ring at the end, and so I was like, oh, there's a chance, but it didn't happen. And then at that point, I was like, as long as Jungle Boy eliminates Rey Phoenix.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't win.
Yeah, but then at that point, I was like, oh, Baca's going to run away with this. But then I started doing the math, and I was like, Cody. All right, Cody does have a chance, but I don't think Cody's going to win.
They booked Cody kind of weird in that match, I feel like.
I think hopefully Cody kind of sees the writing on the wall and realizes that like he's kind of flirting with old Roman levels of, I
would say so.
I think he's gonna go off TV for a little bit, so hopefully that kind of freshens him up.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, man, the shoulder injury really came out of nowhere. But my brother was thinking, like, especially now that they got him paired up with Penta. This is before they did this on Dynamite. He's like, I could see if they were gonna have him in a program with Penta, where Penta does like the whole arm sacrifice thing to take him off TV. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see what, obviously what happened with Dynamite. I was like, okay, this looks like actually a pretty good program. But I just thought it was kind of lame. I mean, like, then again, it was a change in, Baca loves to say that, Cody, like, he puts himself over. He books himself to get put over. Shit, he got booked to get thrown off a ladder a couple times, didn't he? Like, I was very surprised.
My thing with Cody is,
I thought maybe Shaq was gonna come out in like costume, because I don't know if you heard, you know how he did that whole disappearing act in the ambulance. I heard he did that because he was like, well, I know I want to come back and do more matches. I was like, what? And then he said, but I want to make sure that, I had to sell that I was hurt, but I'm not too hurt to show up on my show. And I'm like, I like that he's thinking about that.
Gotta keep kayfabe alive, baby.
I got a question to ask you guys.
He's like, I ain't gonna let Pat McAfee out kayfabe me.
Yeah.
I got a question to ask you about Cody, and you guys can tell me if I'm full of shit or not, but this is the vibe I get off. Kenny Omega, I feel like but I think with the help of Don Callis and all that, is like, he's kind of very behind on what his character does, correct? We could all agree with that. Kenny Omega has a lot of say in what Kenny Omega does on the show.
I would say so. I mean, I would hope so, yeah.
Same thing with probably the Young Bucks, but I think the Young Bucks more so the tag division in general.
Yeah.
Like who they face eventually, who they think they're going to drop the titles to.
I think, I don't know if they have 100% say so, but I think they definitely have they're more than not have the
more so ones, than the teams.
Yeah.
The people in the WWE would, right?
Yeah, they're the ones who have the pulse on the division and actually know what's going on, I would say, yeah.
Does it feel like though Cody Rhodes books Cody Rhodes in isolation while still inserting himself in divisions.
I mean, the only division he's been able to insert himself in so far is because of the match with Jericho is just the TNT Championship.
But doesn't it feel like he's always developing his own story within another story?
I feel like what's been going on with Cody is that every time he's about to get interviewed, someone interrupts him, and then that's his new fucking program. Like that's usually how it goes.
Because like I feel like this ladder match is like a big example of that. Is that Cody was trying to create in isolation his own story when the story is supposed to be about the TNT Championship.
Yeah, true. Match. He's selling his own injury away from I could see what you're saying now.
And then like in other feuds, I just feel like he's like in isolation, just booked like when he was doing the TNT Championship Open Challenge and stuff like that. Like it was. You would think like it's supposed to put other people over, but it ended up just being a story about Cody.
Yeah, it was more about him. I mean, it was good. It was a good surprise of the faces that we would see, but it was different. The way he did it was very different, and I give props to the way Cena did it when he had the U.S. title again. You know what I mean? And because there was a lot of great talent that even though they lost, they always say if there's a way to still win if you lose, and that's just looking good in the match, but. I would argue that Cody hasn't made everyone that he's went up against look as good as himself in those TNT matches. But I do want to talk.
I don't want to come to AEW's defense, but I think he did a pretty good job, man. For a casual fan like me,
I'm not saying
he brought attention to some of those guys.
I'm not saying he did a good job, but I feel like that he could have done. Again, it felt like it was more about putting himself over and just overcoming. Like, it was almost like he was like, you know how you made that list when he left WWE? It was almost like when he got this TNT Championship, he's like, I got a new list. I'm just going to make sure I get as many people on this list on TV for that 1 second of 15 minutes of fame so people could say that, oh, Cody helped that guy. You know what I mean?
Like, for example, Kevin Owens became a pretty big deal after John Cena stuff.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't feel like anyone really became a big deal after he, brought them up for a defense. I mean, most of them were one-offs, but you had Ricky Starks who ended up signing, so there was that. But I mean, he's just been in Team Taz purgatory forever.
I would say the biggest one was probably didn't Eddie Kingston have?
Yeah, Kingston's probably the biggest. Yeah, I'd say so.
But But outside of that, Scorpio Sky went back to dark. Jungle Boy.
I was thinking that too, because even the one with Scorpio was a good match, but nothing came of it after that. He just kept running the gamut on just having the highest win record on dark that no one even knows about, so it's just like,
well, if it happens on dark and nobody sees it, does it really count?
I guess it matters if Big Show watched it, so he can talk about it.
I don't.
I'm already sick of Big Show. It's been 1 week.
Speaking of which,
my thoughts not even that serious. Go for it.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of which, I guess it's worth talking about Christian Cage signing. That was his big surprise, I guess, or his welcoming gift. His housewarming gift for AEW was Christian Cage, I suppose.
If Christian versus Omega happens on TV, I'm totally fine with it. But if it becomes a double or nothing feud, I'm gonna be annoyed.
To me, it feels like it's too soon. But at the same time, I don't know what else they'd have him do.
You want to know my take on the Christian Cage thing? I hope they actually build it as more of a Don Callis versus Christian Cage thing. You have this what you would consider one of the top 5.
That actually is really good because both Don Callis and Christian were in WWF at the same time when it was still the Attitude Era. So that's interesting right there.
You have what you would consider the face somewhat of current Impact Wrestling, and then you have the legend of TNA and Christian. You have and you could build it as like Christian Cage gets his match against Kenny Omega, he loses, right? Fuck it. Right? It happens on Dynamite, on special episode of Dynamite. Who gives a shit? But you could have Christian make appearances on Impact as like, first of all, you book Kenny Omega versus Christian as his first singles match back. AEW could get some ratings on that. His first single match in 7-something years. Even though you could kind of count Randy Orton, whatever.
Yeah, that was him in his street clothes. I'm like, nah.
And then Christian Cage could go back to Impact and say his first time in the Impact Zone in X amount of years, and you could promote that as well.
I was thinking that at some point they would have to, because they're using his old TNA music and his Tron and shit. That's how I knew it. I mean, when they played his music, I was like, whoa, that's Christian. Because I was like, shit, that's the same music. But I was surprised because I was like, didn't WWE buy this library like back in the day from Dixie Carter? So I was like, I don't even know how they're able to use this song, but it don't matter to me, man. I mean, I
cool
can
that
see
they used the old one though.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. It's just weird that he hasn't talked yet. I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but I'm just gonna wait to see. You know, Captain Charisma. You know,
yeah.
I think it's a fine sign.
Should have put that blue dot on his face. That's
I knew you were gonna bring that up. In my head, I was like, I wonder if they're gonna try to do, make fun of that shit at some point. But
you know what they can do too, because then they promote not AEW, but it's gonna be Kenny Omega.
I was gonna bring that up. Like at Rebellion, it's weird. This actually tomorrow night on TNA, it's Sacrifice. It's Moose taking on Rich Swann in a unification match for the championship, and then the winner of that match goes up against Kenny Omega in April for title versus title. Which I'm like,
I wonder who's going to win that one. I wonder what company's going to do the job.
Well, I mean,
but is it
it depends because I mean, if it's, I would hope, I would really, and I'm not talking shit, but I just hope that Rich Swann doesn't win because I'm sorry, but you're not a main event guy, bro.
Trust me, I don't think you have anything to worry about, man.
Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy. I mean, you're a great cruiserweight champion.
You can event on Twitch, but you're on TV now, buddy.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like I can't take you seriously as the champion of like you don't. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like Triple H for Booker T here, but you know what I mean. He's not a primetime player.
Like
to me, it's like Leon Ruff winning
the. Good for you, Rich. Nice little spot for you, Rich.
It was like Leon Ruff winning the North American Championship for me. You know what I mean? But like it's just like
if I could be honest with you though, Moose looks like a better champion. But Rich Swann would put on a better match with Kenny Omega.
That's that old school WWF thinking, man. Moose, big guy, but he's a heavyweight champion.
But Moose has been working for a while, and I think he deserves the spot more, to be honest. I mean, I know they're going to probably try to give it to Rich Swann. Well, I'm saying like in terms of who's going to work with Kenny Omega in this title versus title, because even though it's not a spot for us as spectators, it's definitely a spot for the Impact Wrestling roster because they're like, oh shit, I got a championship versus championship match against Kenny Omega, and it's going to be this cross promotion. That's a big spot for someone that would want it.
Well,
but I mean,
is it winner take all? Is it going to be?
It's winner. Yeah, it's title versus title.
So Kenny Omega's not gonna win. They might as well make that the opening match so people could.
I'm trying to figure out what's gonna happen because I'm not against if he's gonna be this huge, grandiose champion of AAA, Impact, and then AEW. But I need to know. I'm trying to figure out is Callis still with Impact? Is he just a middleman?
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
I don't think he's under contract. I don't know what's going on, but
I heard his contract ended, but I do believe he's involved.
He's kind of just handshaking.
Unless he's not. I haven't seen they might make a deal where Kenny Omega's on Impact as a mutual deal, but maybe Don Callis is officially signed for AEW.
Possibly, I could see that.
And he's just we're gonna let Kenny Omega go back and forth to make it look like Callis is still the face of Impact, but really he's not anymore.
Yeah.
I was gonna say though, if it's winner take all, what if? Nah, this is me put. I'm only bringing this stuff up because I feel like AEW's already done the bullshit move of letting Christian hold the title for a second on TV. I wouldn't have had Christian involved in this at all. I actually would have thought a really interesting, fun feud for wrestling fans would have been Christian versus Matt Hardy at Double or Nothing.
Oh yeah, that would. I didn't even think about the fact that they can kind of dial in and do some shit with that. I mean, and can you imagine if Bully Ray actually does end up making his way over? They can do some sort of AEW version, the fucking
a TLC match with those three guys.
I mean, they did the triple threat ladder match for the tag titles. Last year it was Kofi, one of the Usos, and I forgot who else it was. That was already weird enough, but yeah. I could see something. Him and Matt, I think, will be great because they could take care of each other. I don't think they've ever had a singles program. Obviously, Edge and Matt have. That'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't be mad at that at all, to be honest. Especially because then you got Christian who has to try to get some friends to watch his back with Private Party, or I guess now with Butcher and Blade, who's going to be part of the team. But you know what? Since we only got about 10 minutes left here, I know Baca has important things to do. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up probably the biggest thing that happened so far is this week, and that was the Inner Circle getting rid of MJF, but MJF getting a new team with him. How'd y'all feel about that?
I really enjoyed Inner Circle sticking together. I really thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
I could have easily pulled them
Yeah.
apart, but that was really cool.
I thought the key part about it was the fact that Jericho, he's like, a lot of these guys do this. So like, we're not going to insult these guys' intelligence. Like, yeah, we talk to each other every day, motherfucker. So I thought that was great to say that. There's been other times where like MJF tried to get away with something, and he's like, Max, I saw you last week. I watched the show. And I'm like, thank you for saying that, because it's like it's insane to think that you guys are just part of a show. And you're just like, oh, I just go week to week. I don't even watch it back. I don't even know what's going on, man.
Yeah, well,
my life's just a
podcast works
big
too.
vacuum.
I do little stuff in the podcast just to make Brian laugh, and it's probably the highlight of my week. Just to see get a
like,
reaction. Out of it.
I'm like, did you just fall asleep?
I do it every week, and I just want to see if he laughs. I think MJF is really a primetime player. I really am. I know I'm just a casual AEW fan, but I really do like MJF.
No, he even as a casual fan, you can see it.
Yeah.
Like he's just different than a lot of the guys on the roster, to be honest. A lot of guys are close to getting it, but he gets it. And he's young, and that's what makes him his potential dangerous, but just an asset anywhere he's going to go.
Yo, Baka.
Yep.
Shawn Spears.
Yeah.
On
Shawn's main event spot.
The main event angle. Shawn Spears was the star of it.
Main event. Shawn Spears. Did you hear what he said?
I didn't even see that.
Oh, you didn't see?
You didn't see the blonde dude put Sammy Guevara through the chair?
Yeah, you didn't see that. You didn't see the guy with the blonde mohawk just out of nowhere?
Well, don't you think Rusev is mad because he's been in AEW for a few months now, and he was promised like a main event push, and then Christian just comes in, looks at a few people, and now he's like in the main event picture?
I mean, I don't know.
Is that on Miro or?
I'm just saying, don't you think he'll be a little upset?
I have a feeling like this is his idea.
No, but honestly, but Baka, you're kind of. I'll give it to you, because it's like, what's to say that at the time he came in with Moxley being champ, why couldn't have he taken out Moxley and raised the title over his head at one point? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I get it, because at one point we felt like they were kind of grabbing at straws to try to get an opponent for Mox, because it was like Brody, and he was like fresh in too. MJF got one. Like MJF got a title shot way quicker than I thought he ever would. But I love that angle he did, the whole MJF 2020, and he couldn't use the paradigm shift. Pretty good stuff.
I do think that that Kip Samian storyline was supposed to be like 2.5 to 3 months, and it ended up being like 12 to 16 years.
I mean, that's why I was kind of mad that on Dynamite, it's like, why are you guys asking for another match? Nobody even I thought that was this is what this was for, especially you got Rusev or Miro, whatever. He came in looking real strong. I like the little story that they added to it with him pushing Chuck into Penelope, and then that obviously that's planting seeds for a split. I don't know if that means Kip Sabian is going to turn face, but if he has a good-looking girl on his arm, I don't see why it couldn't work.
But we thought we were gonna get the Miro Kip match maybe sooner than later. Now we have to wait another month or two. And
I can see it now, especially because all he has to say is like, "Dude, I'm not here to take part in a wedding. Like, I mean, I was, but now I'm here to take over, bro. Like, the wedding's over. Like, wedding, the holiday season's over, bro. The honeymoon's over. Let's get these championships. You know what I mean?
I want to see Miro straight up just destroy Kip on TV, destroy him on TV, and then the next time we see him is when he's in the Casino Battle Royal at Double or Nothing, wins that shit, and then he gets a shot at something.
Honestly, like, Kip can take that ass whooping, his character can, and it would be fine. Because all he needs is just Penelope to just fawn over him and be like, "You jerk, that's my husband." We don't. It's not going to hurt him. You know what I mean? But
I do think in terms of factions, real quick, just as a quick statement, I do think we're going to build up to. You think it's Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page at some point with the Dark Order?
I was thinking the same thing.
I
was thinking the same thing, but it seems like Matt Hardy ain't he ain't done with him. Obviously, he added some muscle to his squad as well, which made me think, I'm like, are we gonna do like a 4-way gang warfare type of blood and guts or something?
Or they could do a blood and guts tonight and just have 17 factions just go.
That's what I was like. I was like,
you almost said something else.
We were like, hey,
you almost said they could have 17 factions. And go ahead and that part out. I got you back.
But you know what? I wasn't mad at the reveal. We knew something was gonna happen with the Inner Circle stuff. I didn't know that they were gonna do the reveal. I don't want to say so quick. I guess it's been burning for a while, but I liked how it wasn't what everyone thought it was. Everyone just assumed it was either, MJF jumping Chris Jericho out, or a lot of people thought that MJF and Sammy could have been potentially working together. But I'm glad that they did something different, because, to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about FTR and all that. Like, they did a great job planting the seeds for both those stables away from each other, where you weren't even thinking about the other one. Because I remember one of the things I was complaining about, I was like, well, why are Jurassic Express in this stupid casino, tag team battle royal when they just got beat and FTR aren't in it? Like, I thought
like that too. I thought it was really odd FTR was not in it.
And I think that was the second pay-per-view that they missed, and I was just like, dude, what is going on? And then like, boom, all I did was be patient another couple of days. I'm like, oh, okay, they're part of a main event deal going on here. But yeah, I'm not mad at it, man. A lot of people were like, whoa, they're trying to build this horseman stable. Who's gonna be the fourth guy?
Stable. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Well, a lot of people, I guess, supposedly, like, there's been a few different working titles. Like, one of them was like the Sixth Horseman. I'm like, don't.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm like, just call it. If they're gonna use Horseman, just call them the Horseman. Don't put a number on it. Like,
the new Horseman would be better in my opinion.
I don't know. Anything new just kind of flop. Like the new Midnight Express, or like the new Rockers, the new Black Jacks.
Don't even be the Horseman. I wouldn't even do the Horseman. Just come up with something different.
100%.
Just call them the stable.
Yeah, the stable, because that's where they keep horses.
Stable of horses.
That's actually not a bad idea. The stable.
We are the stable. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm wondering what they're going to be called. MJF's been in the stable before. I think it was called Dynasty when he was back in MLW, where he had Brian Pillman Jr. and Davey Boy Smith Jr.
I do wonder though, after this Inner Circle feud, where would that kind of stable go? Because I feel like it's got a lot of established characters, but they're not anywhere near where everything else is in AEW. If that makes sense. Like,
I know.
It's gonna touch Kenny Omega. The TNT title's off on a totally different.
A lot of these acts, like, it's good that they keep them separate, not to expose the build up to certain dream matches so quick and blow the load on it on free TV, but it's one of those things where at the same time they keep them so separate that it's almost like kind of like WWE. It's like, WWE can never coexist with all these other wrestling promotions that obviously already exist, but we don't even mention them. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's like they're not even in the same, like, it's like watching Marvel movies. You're like, well, that's not the same Doctor Strange from that universe, and yada yada yada. I understand. I mean, like, I think they need to do a better job.
Why was in the X-Men in the Avengers movie, right?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, you start remembering things like, well, they could have done this and that and whatever, all these loopholes. But I think that they need to just do a better job of integrating some of these people together instead of keeping them so away from each other for so long. Because I'm like, y'all in the same roster, man. Like, WWE does that, but they do it to the point where they wait till the moment's already passed to try to put some shit together. You know what I mean? That's why everyone's like, yo, if it's not going to be Brock this year, like, don't bring him to Lashley's door later. Like, we're over it, But
because, like, even simply I know, like, waiting on FTR would have been good, but simply putting FTR in the battle royal still makes him feel relevant in the division.
Yeah.
And putting Shawn Spears in the TNT ladder match makes him feel relevant in that division. They could have even like teased, like, if they could have, Proud and Powerful were in the battle royal, they could have been the ones to throw out FTR to kind of build more bad blood between. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I do want to see those teams go together. I don't think they've been in a ring together yet. But you could even do like a Dynamite or like a special night where each individual feud has its own match.
I was thinking the same
MJF
thing,
versus Chris Jericho, Sammy versus Shawn, FTR versus Proud and Powerful, and Wardlow versus Jake Hager.
I was gonna say Hager and Wardlow again. Yeah, Wardlow looked really good. Wardlow looked really good in this spot too.
Wardlow looked the best in the segment, in my opinion.
Yeah. Jake Hager kept smiling too much for me, but it's all about championships.
Guys, I got to bounce. You guys keep talking about AEW. I had a great podcast. Don't stop because of me. Don't stop because of me. I want to say, Ryan, have you seen Last Chance U? Have you seen Last Chance U's the basketball edition?
No, I saw those up there.
Amazing, and it's at East LA College. And that's going to be you one day. That's going to be you. It's going to be awesome.
Last Chance coach or the players?
Oh, whatever life path you want to go down. I think maybe we're getting close to the coach. But if you want to be the player, I was thinking coach, but I don't know. I was thinking player.
He does a lot of booking for a lot of these shows. He can drop the plays. You know what I'm saying? You never know. I'm just saying. But you know what?
Last Chance U basketball is amazing. You should watch it.
But before you get out of here, man, tell everybody where they can go to follow you and anything you got going on as far as shows and stuff like that coming up, man.
At Young Baka Productions Podcast Network. The anchor, the most important show on that network is Flow for the Love of Wrestling. We also have the Sit Down Podcast, the B-Side Forum, Keep It 100, and a whole bunch of new shows that are coming out, man. Young Baka Productions. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. This is my favorite part of the week. I wish I had more time Talk about
you're all
MJF,
good, bro.
But I
You're all
appreciate
good.
it. I'll see you guys later.
We talked everything important as much as we
Peace.
could. You got a show this Sunday at
Yeah.
Venice?
Yep, Venice, and we're giving away $2,000 cash money in receipt.
There you go.
You should come out. What do you got to do on Sunday?
I work on Sundays. I work 12 hours.
Some you got to do stuff to do.
I work 10 to 12 hours every day I work. So
I respect that.
I like money. It is what it is.
Hey.
But you know what else I like? I like talking to you guys every week, talking wrestling. I'm glad you guys are listening in. Be sure to follow us every time we drop an episode on YouTube or the Young Baka Productions podcast network. That is at Flow Wrestling Show and also Flow Wrestling Pod on Twitter as well. You can feel free to follow me at Kwency Jones Go, at Young Bakken, as well as at Brian Andrew _. Don't forget to follow the Awkward Side Hug podcast as well. This has been the Flow Show, man. Bringing to you guys a day early, and we'll be out and we'll check in next week, man. Hopefully by then Baka didn't grow any extra appendages. I think he got Brian's getting the vaccine as well. I hope he doesn't start speaking some hardcore.
I ain't gonna be here.
some hardcore Russian or something. I don't know what these side effects are, but you know,
it's just not they know where you're at 24/7. That's
there he is. It's the chip. But
I know I'm at home watching wrestling.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this guy's just sitting here watching.
This guy's just watching Dynamite.
Like, god damn, nothing's even happening. But you know what? Thank you guys for listening again. Tune in next week. This has been the Flow Show for the love of wrestling. We out.
Peace.